ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is LetS TV. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. We are here. We are still here at M Studios, and look how amazing our studios are looking these days. Hey, thank you, MTN. Thank you, MTN. Yellow Sama. Ladies and gentlemen, I am still the mad princess. I'm still mad about arts, about entrepreneurs, about business and networkers. You can see I have two amazing, beautiful, handsome, beautiful, gorgeous people here in studio with me today. I'm going to start with, just as we are getting into those nitty-gritties of TV, action, lights, camera. On my right, I am sitting to the television veteran. She is a voiceover artist. She's a producer. She's involved in theater, producing lines. She's involved in camera, the media spaces. She's an all-arounder, but I think her niche or her speciality is more behind the scenes. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Lady Thandiwe Gaobepe.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so I was like, veteran. I'm only 43 years old.
Yeah, but you know, I said that because of...
Okay, veteran. So when you say veteran,
yes,
let's download that word, you know, because we throw out words, you know, what do you mean by veteran?
A veteran, I would refer to someone who has advanced, intense, enough, adequate experience within their spaces of work, their field of work, whatever it might be. Right? So for me, that's what it means. If you are in any field of work and you are specialized in that field so well that you know the whereabouts of then you know what's happening there.
Okay, so it's a big word,
and you deserve
like
it.
They say, when you have to say the three words "I love you" is a big word. Veteran is a big word, and also I just wanna just kind of like give clarity on the titles that you mentioned.
All right.
So I started in the television and film industry over 20 years ago. I started when I was in high school as a presenter, but I didn't choose to be in the television and film space. Back then in the days, we didn't have social media. We didn't have internet, so we had casting directors who would come to the schools to actually cast for whoever they wanted for their shows. So a casting director came to my high school at the time in the early 90s.
Hyde Park, right?
Yes, Hyde Park. In the early 90s, and everybody gathered by like the foyer. And I was just like curious, what is this all about?
Yes.
But I was definitely the shyest out of the whole bunch. I was just there in the background, and she just picked me to audition. I auditioned. It's not something that I wanted to do. But when I auditioned, I was cast for a part to present, and that's how my career in television and film started. But when it started, I was like, this is not for me. Like, what am I doing on screen? Because I'm so shy, right?
Okay.
But I mean, I did it anyway. And then after I finished high school, I took a gap year and I went to London, and I think that's when it was really clear that television and film was part of my destiny, because when I was in London, I remember I was meeting up with my then boyfriend. He had flown from South Africa to come and visit me, and we're meeting on Oxford Street at a Starbucks or something.
Oxford in the UK,
yes, Oxford in London, not in Rosebank.
All right.
So there I am walking to go meet him, and as I'm walking, here's a team of television crew. They're like, excuse me, ma'am, would you like to be in our TV show? And I'm like, okay,
wow,
sure. And then as I'm filling in the papers, my then boyfriend arrives and he's like, I don't think you should just trust anyone. What is this for? And I'm like, they're just looking for audience for a show, you know? So that's how I filled in the forms. I can't even remember the name of the show. I went and I was part of the audience. And I think they take down your numbers and your details. A month later, they said, would you like to do a pilot for your own show?
Ooh.
So I was like, that's crazy. There were a whole lot of us in the audience. How did they pick me? You know? So that's how I did a pilot for my own show. In London, here I am. I can't even remember, but it was kind of like a celebrity styling type of show that we were trying to do. I mean, we're talking about, this is 2001.
Yes.
So I can't even remember. And it's not like I was so deep into, I want to be on TV and this is my calling and this is what I want to do. So I was just going with the flow. I'm very much of I'm a free spirit,
Sure,
you know.
sure, yes.
So I got my own wardrobe stylist. I got my own makeup artist. The whole do. We met at a studio there in Oxford. I remember it was for Pearson Television, and we started doing this pilot. You know, I was like, wow, all for me. But I don't think it ever sunk in because I just felt like that's how my life was just going, you know. But when I look back on it now, it sounds like a fairy tale.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It must have been the life.
Yeah.
You know, it all sounds so interesting, and it somehow sounds sort of orchestrated.
Yeah.
Right? Because these people keep choosing you.
Yeah.
And they're choosing you for TV, that you may be seen by the world. And you're this shy girl.
Yeah.
Why do you think this is?
Look, I don't know if I've ever really collected it and really kind of like reflected much on the shy girl thing.
Yeah.
Because I know I was a shy girl.
Yeah.
And then I started going to, I think when I started getting into, especially when in high school before London, someone suggested that I go to a modeling school. I went to a modeling school just to kind of like, you know, give me confidence. But I never really unpacked that shy girl part. You know, maybe it's something for me to kind of like think where was it, because it was the shy girl that was picked, right? Not the loud girl, or you know. So I think after London, I now started believing that this was for me, right? So I was skinny then and short. It's too short, but I was skinny, slender, and very pretty. So I believed I was the next Victoria Beckham, but the black version.
All right.
So after that, I got a lot of confidence after doing that pilot. I now went onto the internet, into one of these internet cafes. And I was like, I'm looking for now an agent in London. And I was like, I was very actually specific. I was like, it has to be Victoria Beckham's agent.
Wow.
So I found it. It was on the list. I got to Victoria Beckham's agent and I was like, hello everybody, I am the next Victoria Beckham. And they all looked at me because I was standing at the door there. They all looked at me and they were like, no, you're not. I looked at them, but I didn't feel shattered.
Yes. That was your expression.
That was quite interesting. I remember I just turned 20 then, because I spent my 20th birthday in London. I didn't feel shattered. I walked away and I was like, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I went and I looked for other agents. I found another agent. I walked in and I was like, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to be on television. I want to be an actress. I want to be a model. I wanted everything on screen.
Okay.
And the lady looked at me and she says, yes, you're stunning, you're beautiful. I'm signing you up right now.
Awesome. So let's just backtrack a little bit. Right. So you were in the UK, you're doing all these wonderful things. When did you then decide to return to SA?
Okay, so at the time, my immediate family, who I've lost pretty much everybody, I now have my kids and a brother, surviving brother. My immediate family, I was very close with my grandmother because I was born in political exile. So at the time, in South Africa, I was living with my Xhosa grandmother and my Tswana grandfather. So and then my siblings, of course. So I missed them. So I had the opportunity because I was actually also in England illegally, in terms of working. But as South Africans, you were allowed to be on a visitor's visa, yes. For like 6 months then, you know, but it's all changed, yeah. So whatever work I was doing, I was actually doing it illegally. So my aunt, because I was living with family there, so my one aunt was like, I'll go back home for like a month and then come back in again on the 6 months. And then after that, you can live here illegally. We'll make the ways. So that's how I left. After I joined that agency that signed me up, I left London and I came back to South Africa. Yes. To just kind of like for a month, lay low, and then go back in. But what I didn't realize is that I'd already overstayed by a month, and they were very strict. So that's how I go back into London after a month.
All right.
And I get deported. Yeah. And I get deported.
And you're forced back home.
Yes, so I'm forced back home.
Yeah, and then you're finding the situations between where the work situation is concerned, especially where art is concerned, right? The world of TV, media, and so forth. London versus SA. What was the that you found?
Completely different for me because I am Thandiwe Gaobepe. Everyone thinks I'm either Zulu or Xhosa, but always is the first.
Botswana?
Yeah, always the first guess is I'm Zulu, and I'm like I'm not Zulu. The Thandiwe I get from the Xhosa side, and then my surname is Tswana.
Gaobepe, yes.
But my issue is, when I came to South Africa, I was 10 years old. So, and as a 10-year-old to grab onto language, it's much more difficult than if I was younger. So I had to focus on Afrikaans and Zulu at school. And then in the house it was Xhosa and Tswana, but I couldn't catch on with the Xhosa and Tswana. I could understand it, but not speak it fluently.
So Afrikaans?
Afrikaans, yes. And Zulu, yes. But it's Zulu and Afrikaans were languages that were forced on me because of the educational system.
And speaking of languages, sorry to interrupt you there. You speak another language, Bemba.
Yes, Bemba. So Bemba is a language I learned in political exile in Zambia.
Oh, wow.
So nobody in my family is Bemba because my mom is actually Lamba. They're originally from Congo, and they went into Zambia, and then of course my dad's Tswana and Xhosa, you know, and they also went into Zambia. So it's a language I picked up as a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to backtrack a little bit because today's focus is the industry of television and film, and the challenges around that. We spoke to Buddy earlier. He's left the building. And he's also done a few cameo roles. And, you know, I think a lot of artists tend to go into the spaces of acting or being on TV as a presenter without really having gone through the backgrounds, the nitty-gritties of what it takes to do the job, right? And then when you still do get the job, you find that there are still challenges there. Let's talk a little bit about those challenges and what you think can be improved, especially having the experience in the UK and now looking at the situation at home. How would you navigate that?
So for me, I would say I have a different type of grace upon my life. Because interesting enough, my biggest challenge when I decided that, like, okay, this must be it for me. I'm supposed to be on screen, I'm supposed to be acting, I'm supposed to be presenting, I'm supposed to be modeling, doing all these things. My barrier was language, right? So I couldn't. I didn't have a South African language that I could speak fluently, and that became a problem. So I ended up being on all the soapies. So I was on Generations, Isidingo, CF Dalan. I was even at some point I was on Jacob's Cross. You name it. But they could only give me the cameo role. That Buddy was talking about. Or you mentioned to Buddy about they could only give me the cameo role. I never necessarily played the extra because with the cameo role I always had a line or two. But I remember, for example, when I was on Generations with people like Mabatu, when Rosie was there, Akin was there, Sonia was there, Kolile was there, Thandiwe was there. You
that's
know?
a powerful group.
We all worked. We all worked together. I was there. I was given a cameo role, and that cameo role paid really well. I was able to pay my rent and everything. And I was in it for almost a year, right? But they could never ever develop my role because of the language barrier. So my biggest battle, in fact, even Connie was also still on the show. My biggest battle was language. So that also I started internalizing that, and it was kind of like, clearly I'm not going to make it. Because for me, I didn't go for any training. It was just kind of like, it was grace, really. The grace of God. So that's how, So for a while, I was doing that back and forth, getting the roles, being in all these soapies, but it could never be more than a cameo role because of language. And then I started, then I became the commercial girl. I was in a whole lot of commercials. Then I became face of Lux. And it was the whole next door type of girl type of thing, situation, and then it got to a point where for me it wasn't gonna move, especially here. So in fact, my destiny as an actress was probably better off in London, you know,
definitely
because of language for me. So that's when somebody said to me, a director, a writer, and a producer by the name of Mickey Dube said to me, why don't you try behind the scenes? And I was quite offended. I was like, how dare you say, why don't I try?
I think I know.
Yes. I was like, how dare you say, why don't I try behind the scenes? And he was just like, you know, in terms of looks and but maybe he
was seeing something.
He knew something, but at that time, I think he could only explain it that much further.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So he said behind the scenes, and I was quite offended. But then I got over it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to try behind the scenes, because if I need more money than this, right? So I went behind the scenes, and working on dramas, short films, you name it. For a good 10 years working on long form, but then also it also became behind the scenes. It became a budget situation, you know, where we've been paid less than we should be paid, you know. So as much as yes, it was paying me a bit more than having to do a cameo role here and there, and there was also a bit more longevity, you know, because you'd be on a project for like, I'd be on a project for like 6 months or sometimes longer, or 3 months the least, you know, but at least I had consistent income coming in. But after some time, I think there was a time when the SABC went through like a really I don't know what to call it, a financial depression, financial depression maybe, I don't know. And then that's when I was like, I don't know, long form, hey? And then I had my first child, and I was just like, 18 hours a week. No, 18 hours a day. Sorry, not a week.
Yeah.
18 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much on a Sunday, all you're doing is flopping,
Oh,
going to sleep.
wow.
So I was just like, nah, it's gotta change.
Yeah.
So that's how I left long form,
Yeah.
and I decided to go to short form, and short form meant doing TV commercials.
Awesome.
So
I guess
I've
that
been
basically...
in TV commercials now for like a good 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So I guess that basically means that if you are going to choose the space of television, you gotta be able to diversify yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be this one guy. You are just zoned in on one thing. We spoke to Sister Pumzile earlier, who's making us these beautiful crowns over here, and we were talking about how important it is to learn skills that of things that you can also make with your hands. And the TV industry, the film industry, you just need to be diverse.
I think just besides the TV and film industry, I think in any industry, I saw my cousin the other day. I mean, she works at Presidency, and she was just like, in this day and age, you have to have a second income.
Diversity.
So even more than that, it's just to survive these days. Cost of living is way up, and our salaries are not really going up.
True. And we are living now in the world of AI.
Yes, exactly. We're living in the world of AI, because even the jobs that we are...
Watch out, everybody.
Even the jobs that we're thinking about for our kids... which our parents used to think about and our grandparents used to think about.
Yes.
Those jobs are going away. I mean, even a simple job as a cashier, you probably won't be getting. I mean, even now they've got robots cleaning as well.
Everything robotic.
A friend of mine actually posted a video on WhatsApp the other day. She's moved to Kenya. She's Zambian. She was living in South Africa. She moved to Kenya. And now she was at a restaurant and there's robots serving them. So also waitresses, those jobs are also going.
The future is now.
Yeah, so things have changed in terms of technology. And I think it's just back to the same, what I've always believed in, which is working smart more than anything. Because your time is really money.
Time is money, work smart. You heard it from... I am still going to maintain that she is the veteran, because you are fully equipped with the nitty-gritties of what's happening behind the scenes and on camera.
Yeah.
And let me let you in on a little secret before I let you go, because we are about to let you go. About some 5 years ago, maybe 2018, 2019, we were at one of the production houses. I think it was a casting.
Okay.
And there's something that you did, like impromptu. I don't know if you remember, you would start these interviewing people impromptu. And you did an interview impromptu with me.
Really?
Yes, you did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I spoke about
this
Nia. Synchronicity.
Oh,
spoke about
yes,
you
I
remember. Now she
remember. It was in
remembers.
Auckland Park, Melville, at Casting Initiative.
Thank you. Was it casting? Because we couldn't make out.
And I was like starting to, before podcasts became a thing.
Before podcasts became a thing. Let me tell you a secret.
Before podcasts
that
became
day,
a thing. Yeah.
I started the
Really?
very same initiative.
Oh my word!
And here we are.
That is so crazy.
I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I literally
No,
started
I
going
remember.
about markets everywhere. I was just like, can I get an exclusive? Can I get an exclusive?
Wow. I remember.
Well, thank you so much.
That
I brought
is so
you
insane.
here today really to say thank you for that. You sparked something.
Wow.
And
that
I
is
ran
giving me
with it.
Goosebumps.
And I will love you and remember you for
Oh,
life. Ladies and
this is
gentlemen,
amazing.
Thandiwe Gaobepe, actress, presenter, producer, photography, zonke bonke, veteran, spark
All in
idea
one.
starter. What do you call it when you inspire someone to do something?
Influencer.
Influencer.
That's what
Ooh. ntse ke le ngwana ga o mama Letshego, and if you can't say my name, just call me the Mad Princess. And it's a wrap.
Thank you.